everybody, it's John with Production Apprentice, and I'm here in Avid's booth at NAB 2010 with Bob Russo. Bob,
thanks.
Thanks
for having me. Thanks for coming.
All right, well, the big news.
Media Composer 5.
That's right, Media Composer 5, and the ability to use the Matrox MX02 Mini.
Absolutely. So one of the new features, we've really been listening to our customers, and one of the things they've been asking for was the ability to use third-party hardware with Media Composer. So the first one we did is actually the Matrox MX02 Mini. There's a lot of things about it. It works directly inside of Media Composer, and some of the things that are really nice about the MXO, and especially if you're an independent filmmaker, you don't specifically have all the tools that a professional filmmaker would have, is if you don't specifically have a proper HD monitor, you essentially don't have a blue gun. Now, that feature alone will raise the price of a HD monitor dramatically. So this gives you, we can actually put the blue gun on and set up a monitor. So you may have just a regular consumer television or a low-cost monitor, even a computer monitor.
Right.
And you can use this, set it up, and that's a really great feature of the MX02. And one of the reasons why we selected this as a box as hardware, because of some of these features like that. Matrox is really progressive and a great company to work with. Some of the other features it's native QuickTime support. So prior to Media Composer 5, QuickTime was a real sort of labor-intensive process where you had to import them in.
Right.
Well, now essentially I'm going to make a new bin, and on my desktop here, I have some D7 QuickTime files.
Oh, okay.
Right, and I have some ProRes QuickTime files. So really, the way to think about this is, if QuickTime can play the file, Media Composer can play the file.
Excellent.
So I'm going to go File, Link to AMA Files. AMA stands for Avid Media Access, and this is the architecture that we're using to play these files. Really, it's two parts: there's the wrapper and then the codec. So I link files, go to my desktop. Here's my ProRes. So you may have started a movie in Final Cut, or you may have used the AJ KI Pro, right? Kai Pro, and then link to, and there I am. The files are available right away inside of Media Composer, and I'm just on a laptop. Nothing really fancy here with the Matrox connected and a computer monitor. So this is pretty real world. And these files are available right away inside of my editor.
And then Janice was
right, and I can use them.
Wow.
And I can use them, and I can start editing with them right away. If there's time code on the QuickTime file, like there would be if you were using, if you create these in Final Cut or something, we'll read that QuickTime file. For files like AMA files, for like the D7, and I go to here's my D7, right? And I dig in for the QuickTime files, and I click that. Now these actually don't have time code on them, but what we're doing is we're actually looking at what Media Composer is doing. We're looking at the creation date of the QuickTime.
Okay.
And so we're looking at the creation date, and then we're going to extrapolate down. So each file does actually have time code, and that's how Media Composer is using it when you're editing with it. But instead of giving it like 00 or 0, no time code, we're actually using the creation date and extrapolating that. But you can see I have these right in my bin, and I'm ready to go. Right? And important to understand, we're not importing these. We're linking to them in place.
Right, okay.
Right? So it's no transcode, no rewrap. And it's very, very important, and I'm able to start editing right away. And I could use all these. I never need to transcode any of these files to a specific Avid flavor of, codec.
Is that something that you'd want to do later? Conform it later?
Yeah,
or?
I mean, you may want to do that.
Okay.
You get better performance. There's lots of sort of reasons to do it. Because we call this unmanaged media when you're just linking to files in place. Avid has a very, very robust, and it's somewhat renowned for its media management. When you're linking to files in place, if you move those files, just like with any other NLE, you lose the link to them, and then you got to reestablish a link. And so we're subject to that as well. It's easy enough to sort of put them back where you left them, and then you're fine, right? So it's just that with great power comes great responsibility. Some of the other new features. This is I think the beginning editors, the entry to Media Composer to learning the interface, because it's very keyboard. That's much faster the keyboard, very tactile where you're using the keyboard. But if you're a beginning editor, right, you don't have key color, keycaps. It's hard to remember what was where. And we now added this direct timeline manipulation, And I really think that Avid did a fabulous job with this. And so, for example, over here, if you're familiar with Pro Tools, and that's Avid,
Right.
some audio editing software, really the industry standard by far, the Office Pro Tools, they have a feature called the Smart Tool. Well, we added the Smart Tool into Media Composer. And you can turn them all on, turn them all off, right? Turn them on and off.
Wow.
You can decide which ones you want on, if you only want to use a certain set of these Smart Tools. And I would think, for the most part, you'd want to put them all on. And if you look at my timeline here, when I have my cursor and I'm on the top of it, right? So, right, I'm on the arrow as I'm scrolling around the timecode track, and I drag it down. Now I have this red arrow. This is the override arrow.
Right.
I click it, the audio and video are attached, and I can actually drag it over directly. Same thing if I'm at the bottom of it, so let me go to this next clip because this works better. If I go to the bottom, you'll see I have a yellow arrow. So this is the splice in or arrow, and I drag it over, and what it'll do is it'll shuffle everything around, and I leave no black holes in my sequence. But I can do that just by hitting the top or the bottom, very quick, very intuitive. If I'm right in the center, so now I'm in the trim part.
In the trim mode.
Right, I go right to trim mode, and I can drag, and there I am. I'm dragging, and I'm doing an overwrite, or I'm dragging, and I'm doing a splice.
Wow.
Right. So very fast, and an important thing is, Avid Media Composer, right, is renowned for its trim modes, and that's what a lot of people, the professional editors you talk to, you'll say, what's this, that, but really trim mode.
Yeah.
So what's nice about Media Composer and what we've done with this direct manipulation is that we put you into trim mode. It's not like you get a little finger and you're dragging things across and you're not in trim mode. Right? We are giving you all the functionality in trim mode. I have JKL, right? I can scrub these trims, right? I can scrub this trim back, right? So I have all that power.
Single frame, 10 frame,
Yeah,
advanced.
exactly, right? I have all the power of trim mode, but a fast way. So it gives you the best of both, where you're able to, go in, grab clips, move them around, add edits, delete pieces. And the same token, you can get in and just and have access to the power of the real power of Media Composer.
I've got to say, that Smart Tool, you've wowed me, Bob. That's pretty
Yeah.
cool. I mean, I'm kind of blown away by that.
Yeah, the Smart Tool is amazing. The UI team at Media Composer at Avid has done just a great job. Another great feature is called so it's RealTime Audio Suite plugins. So right here I can put up to 5 RTAS plugins, RealTime Audio Suite. I click that and I get the insert box. And I'll move this up here. And so these are the same plugins that are available in Pro Tools. And so whatever I want to do, I can put up to 5 on the same, right? And it's really nice because they have some of these really great interfaces. So if you look at, that's actually what this plugin is emulating, this piece of hardware. And so there's a lot of sort of special effects you can do if there's something specific you're trying to accomplish. Like here, this is a good example because this interview segment is this voiceover segment. He's whispering, right? And then we have a door slam, and if you play it down, right, he's whispering, and then he gets louder, right? And then there's a slam of a door. This is a really challenging to sort of mix this. You're adding keyframes and doing all this work. Now, come in. I like this Maxim plugin, and just drag it down, right? And here I have a real-time espresso limiter.
And then he came and he started
Right?
pounding
I
on
take
the
the
doors,
whisper
and then
to
I
bring the
think
whisper
she's
up.
still next to me.
I'm bringing
And she
the
just
yell
left him
down.
there.
The
What? No,
bang
yes.
down. Very powerful.
Very nice.
And you can do up to 5 on a track.
It's really cool. I'm impressed. I'm looking forward to it. I can't
Yep.
wait. Do we have a target release date for it yet?
The target is in June, probably mid-June, sometime like that.
Well, Bob, thank you very
Thanks
much.
so much for your
I
time.
really appreciate your time.
Thank you.
Thanks.